With the atmosphere processing station literally falling apart around them, Ripley and Newt try to get back to the elevator and take a wrong turn at some point. Ripley suddenly discovers that they are surrounded by alien eggs. She slowly turns around and we see it. The alien queen. Confirming the earlier theories of Bishop, Ripley, Hudson and Vasquez, she is suspended over the eggs by long strands of what seem to be the same sort of material that makes up the rest of the nest. Extending from her abdomen is a gigantic off-white egg sac. Roiling around in the egg sac, the shape of new alien eggs can be seen. And as Ripley and Newt watch, a new egg, white and glistening, is deposited on the ground. Is this a different sort of alien egg, or just what they look like freshly laid? And how did the rest of the alien eggs end up in their current positions, or out in the rest of the hive? The queen's arms don't reach to the end of the egg sac to place the eggs around the chamber, let alone out into the hive tunnels, so it stands to reason that the normal adult aliens place the eggs. As for the queen herself, she's about 4 times the size of a normal adult alien, but rather than having a ridged head like the other aliens we've seen, or a smooth head like the Nostromo alien, the queen has a sort of large crown that extends some 2 to 3 meters above the front of her head. And more than this, as she senses Ripley and Newt's presence, her face actually extends out from under the crown, and we see huge jaws with a wicked set of teeth. She has a smooth bump similar to that of the other adult aliens above her mouth, which may be some sort of visual organ. She hisses at Ripley, almost as if she is challenging the intruder, and we see 2 adult aliens appear at exits from the chamber to the left and right. The heat haze evident in the chamber gives us some idea of just how hot it is, backing up earlier comments by Frost that it was hot as hell. So it's unlikely the heat is caused by the atmosphere processing station meltdown, but either there is heat generated by the hive itself, the same temperature as the alien's body heat, thus masking them from IR tracking, or the heat is a natural byproduct of such close proximity to the AP station's primary heat exchanger. But why did the Queen choose such a location? Are the eggs and alien better suited to such a warm environment? Kane mentioned that it was like the goddamn tropics when he encountered eggs on the derelict. Or did the Queen decide to build the nest under the heat exchanger because she knew it would make the nest a much more difficult target? Anyone going in there to kill aliens or rescue hosts wouldn't be able to fire any projectile weapons or risk rupturing the cooling system and thereby doom themselves in the process, as Ripley pointed out during the initial ambush. Before any of the aliens can attack, she fires her flamethrower just over the top of the eggs and the Queen becomes enraged. Or is she? We might assume she's enraged. She could, on the other hand, simply be terrified at the thought of Ripley frying the eggs. Because the alien's sole purpose is to breed, and breeding involves the death of humans, we naturally make the assumption that they're evil. However, they've never really displayed any particularly evil tendencies, and we shouldn't assume they can't feel scared. They just do what they do to survive like any other species. On the other hand, they do seem to prolong the deaths of some victims. Parker, Brett, Farrow and Burke all had to wait at least several seconds as the alien peeled back its lips before striking. And as for Lambert, her death was especially long. Do the aliens pause before attacking to purposely strike fear into a victim? Or is it physical concerns that prevent them from striking immediately? We theorized in the first series that perhaps the alien requires sustenance in order to move quickly. Maybe this is the reason for the relatively slow attacks on Farrow and Burke. Ripley releases the trigger of the incinerator and angles her weapon down at the eggs, leaving no doubt what will happen if the Queen tries anything. The Queen now turns to each of her children, hissing at them, and the 2 adults back away into the shadows. And for the first time we see aliens communicating with each other. We've assumed that the first hiss from the Queen was a challenge to Ripley, but it could just as well have been a cry for help to the others. The aliens' language seems to be based on vocal sound and possibly body language, with the Queen's head turning to look straight at the adults as she hisses. It should be noted that as the adult alien to Ripley's right backs away, the dorsal tubes of another alien can be seen. This could be more dead/dismembered alien being used as hive material, as we witnessed earlier when Ripley was searching for Newt. If it isn't, why did it not also rise up to defend the Queen? Ripley and Newt now back away towards an unguarded exit, standing on tendrils coming from the base of the eggs, and an egg opens. Ripley seems to realise that there is no reasoning with the Queen, that she will do anything to have more hosts. So Ripley lets fly and napalms the eggs. The Queen again starts screaming in rage or terror, and the aliens who had just retreated now rush Ripley. She shoots both of them, plus a third that also attacks. Is this the one we previously thought was part of the wall? It seems to be coming from the direction where the dorsal tubes were seen. Now, with the fire rapidly spreading, Ripley starts firing her pulse rifle at the eggs, the tops of which explode on impact. These small explosions are most likely from the rifle rounds, which are, as Gorman pointed out earlier, explosive tipped. However, the tops of each egg is also aflame. Is this the breathing, as observed by Kane on the derelict, at work again here? And is this breath indeed a flammable gas? What we do know is that the eggs are indeed highly flammable, and the chamber is very soon an inferno. Did Ripley standing on the egg tendrils send a signal to the egg to open? No doubt she would have stood on the tendrils of dozens of eggs while passing through the chamber, so why did only that one open? And how would an egg pick up someone standing on the tendrils if they were stuck to a hive wall? Maybe the egg is effectively wired into the hive via the tendrils, and the slightest movement from a potential host, i.e. merely breathing, sends vibrations through the nest to the egg. Ripley now fires 4 grenades into the queen's egg sac. Each of the grenades easily puncture the sac and explode inside, sending the alien version of amniotic fluid everywhere. Ripley and Newt back out, with Ripley still firing her flamethrower when another alien attacks from the ceiling behind them. Ripley quickly swings around and nails it with her rifle, then fires a few more rounds as it lies on the ground. During all this, the 3 aliens whom Ripley has recently shot don't get up and try to attack again. Although aliens don't seem to mind high temperatures especially, it's unknown that if these aliens were alive, whether the fire would help or hinder any healing. Either way, none of the 4 aliens that Ripley shoots in the sequence give chase. Rounding a corner, Ripley removes a bandolier of grenades and flings it into the Queen's chamber. The ensuing chain of explosions causes the Queen to be toppled from her throne, and she falls to the floor. As Ripley and Newt rush to the elevator, the Queen detaches herself from the egg sac and pursues, apparently unharmed by the explosions or the fire.